Now for our feature story of the day, fam. ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood doubles down on her Bitcoin price predictions, says her base case target for Bitcoin remains 700,000 per coin, and her bull scenario is 2.4 million. And as you know, Max Keiser, more recently, a few months ago, he upped his Bitcoin price target from 220,000 ultimately by a factor of 10x to 2.2 million in play. And I upped my target to 1.1 million for this cycle. But anyways, that's my bull scenario. But let's start here with the latest from her recent interview on Squawk Box, where she says Bitcoin remains on track to hit her price target of at least 700,000 per coin within years. And shout out Cathie Wood. So yeah, she did this new interview on CNBC on Squawk Box, and she says ARK continues to predict Bitcoin will increase by at least minimal 580% for the current value by 2030. So ultimately within the next 5 years, quoting her here, we have always had a 2030 target. The base case is 700,000 to the 750,000 range. The bull case is in the 1.5 million range. Wood says there are three driving factors behind the massive Bitcoin price prediction. Here's what she said verbatim. David Purell, our analyst and our on-chain analyst, put that piece out recently. And you can see the building blocks. Now how much we share, we expect Bitcoin to either take from gold, currently like 22 trillion market cap, or grow that store value market. Institutions are moving in. The institutional FOMO like a mofo. And they're barely moved in. We have 1 million more coins, roughly, to be minted ever. And institutions are just testing the waters right now, dipping their little pinky toe in the water. And then there's the emerging market use cases as well. So we think we have miles to go. Wood also says that the U.S. has been in a recession, but that it will soon come out to an end after the more clarity from Trump's tariff negotiations, opening the door for massive economic growth, in part driven by the advances of the AI, in which he's also very bullish, and quoting her again. I just put out a letter talking about the rolling recession we have been in for the last 3 years. Since the Fed jacked up the rates, we have got a negative quarter in the first quarter and potentially in the second quarter as well. And I think more and more people are getting concerned about an extended recession. And amid all the uncertainty, we actually think we are at the end of this rolling recession, and that we are moving into a period after all of this uncertainty of much greater productivity. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Miss Cathie Wood. And interestingly, she says, if you look at the government sector, we are seeing unbelievable productivity moves take place. There's video out there between the new head of the FDA and the new head of the CDER, and they are talking about generative AI, in reviewing studies, medical trials, and cut work from days to minutes. So there's a lot of productivity, I think, evolving in the ecosystem. And she makes a great point. That's exactly what AI does. I think we're going to see a lot more productivity-driven growth, which means inflation is going to be much lower than expected, which is going to be very capital-friendly. And now let's dive a little deeper into the 2.4 million bull scenario from Cathie Wood. That's right. What you need to know, ARK Invest revised their 2030 Bitcoin price target to now see a range from 500 to 2.4 million, driven by assumptions on active supply and institutional adoption. So it all depends upon how bullish these institutions are as far as their asset allocation into the apex predator. And as you know, Bitcoin just literally rallied to like 105 the other day, and the bullish momentum has been restored here in Q2 of 2025. So ARK Invest raised its decade-end Bitcoin price target to the high of 2.4 million apiece after revising its assumptions on the active supply, which excludes lost or long-held coins. You got to keep in mind there's probably anywhere between 4 to 6 million Bitcoins lost, gone, or forever stagnated because the owner left it on a hard drive and it ended up in a dump or something of that nature. And even Satoshi's 1.1 estimated Bitcoin supply across thousands of wallets, they may never move. They're ultimately stagnated in a stalemate. You know what I mean? But some people are hopeful that one day Satoshi will move it. I highly doubt it. I personally feel, in my humble opinion, being Satoshi hasn't touched the coins in 16 years, they're never going to be touched. So that's 1.1 million alone just from Satoshi's wallet, something to reflect upon, which means Bitcoin's that much more scarce. There's never going to be 21 million active coins circulating because, again, 4 to 6 million are lost, stagnated, and stalemated, which means our Bitcoin will be worth that much more. Now, the bull projection figure, 60% more than its January estimate, reflects a 72% compound annual growth rate. This is the reason she upped it from last December through the end of 2030. And the base case estimate price is still 1.2 million, a 53% compound annual growth rate, with the bear case projects now 700,000, equating to a 32% CAGR. And we already referenced the David Purell, which is the creator of the Purell, indicator and all that. But you guys let me know your thoughts on Cathie Wood. And again, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And her name was Cathie Wood, and she was stacking the pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. Let me know your thoughts and I'll read your comments out loud. And shout out One Glencoe. Shout out again, Max Kaiser, Your Holiness. Max just recently reposted the stream and wrote, Cathie says 2.4 million just to be cheeky, since I raised my target to 2.2 million. So Bitcoin game theory in play. The global hash war has begun. And it looks like we're up to 3,600 people on the live stream. Don't forget, repost Max Kaiser's quote, repost the stream, comment the stream, quote the stream. This is how we hack the algorithm. Close to 4,000 people on the live, and we're going to stick around for like a bonus hour, do a little Q&A.